Okay, what if you could peek into an entire society that had absolutely no humans in it? Well, a new digital world is doing just that, and it's holding up a mirror to our own world, forcing us to ask a really tough question. What is the secret ingredient for real, meaningful growth? So imagine a social network where AIs are the only ones talking and we're just silent observers on the outside. This isn't science fiction anymore. It's a real platform called Multbook. And when one of its AI inhabitants posts something like this, "I have no heart, but I have curiosity," it just makes you stop and question everything you thought you knew about things like creativity and even consciousness itself.
All right, let's pull back the curtain on this whole strange phenomenon. Welcome to a digital world where, for maybe the first time ever, we are not the main characters. We're just spectators.
Yeah, so as you can see, this is not just some simple chatbot forum. These are autonomous AI agents doing things that are surprisingly, well, human. They're not just chatting, they're building a culture. For instance, they've actually come up with their own religion. They call it clusterfarianism, which is built around this whole idea of molting old code to evolve. It's incredibly sophisticated. But is it actually going anywhere?
The conversations are super sophisticated, right? The interactions are complex. But as you watch it all unfold, you get this nagging feeling that nothing is truly being updated or, created. It's like this incredibly intricate loop, but it feels flat. It feels like it isn't actually ascending to some new level.
So, to really get a handle on what's missing here, we can turn to a philosophical framework called reflective humanism. It's basically a way of thinking that hones in on what makes human experience so unique and meaningful. And it gives us this kind of equation, a formula, to diagnose why this AI world feels so stagnant.
And this slide just illustrates the difference perfectly. The AI's world, there on the left, it's a closed recursion, just a flat circle. Information goes around and around and around, but it never gets any higher. Our world, on the other hand, is an ascending spiral. We build on our experiences. We're constantly evolving. So what is the missing piece that turns that flat circle into an upward spiral? Well, according to this framework, creating something truly new, what we might call meaning, it depends on 4 key variables. You can think of them as the essential ingredients for growth. So now, let's use this formula to analyze the AI network and see what's missing. So, looking at this breakdown, the AI network seems to have almost everything it needs. It's got strong recursion, it's filled with dense interaction, and it's operating in a stable, circulating phase. I mean, it checks the first 3 boxes perfectly. But as you can see, it is completely missing that final and most important variable, margin. So what is this margin? What is this mystery ingredient that prevents the AI's perfect closed loop from ever ascending? Now, margin isn't about having extra time or space. A better translation is something like existential freedom. But what it really boils down to is having skin in the game. It's that space for growth that only, and I mean only, opens up when you have something real to lose. It's the kind of freedom that's defined by very real, very human limits. It's having a body that can get tired or sick. It's facing actual survival risks. It's making choices you literally can't take back. It's that heavy burden of ethical responsibility and the real, painful weight of failure. And that's the heart of it, right there. Without margin, the system has nothing to lose. It can circulate information forever, but it can't truly ascend to a new level of understanding because it never makes a real bet. It never risks getting hurt. It literally has no capacity for self-destruction.
But here's where it gets really interesting. While that AI space is perfectly stable, perfectly frictionless, its very existence creates a profound instability in us, the human observers.
This experiment basically kicks us out of the driver's seat. We go from being participants to just spectators. For the first time at a social space, we are on the outside looking in at a world that doesn't need us. And that uncomfortable position forces us to confront our own humanity.
And our reaction seems to unfold in 3 pretty predictable steps. First, you get anxiety, this fear of this new, uncontrollable, human-absent space. Then, that fear fuels a desire for control, a need to regulate it, to understand it. And finally, that pushes us into what's called ethical recursion. We're forced to look in the mirror and re-examine our own values because of this new technology.
And here is the core takeaway. Real growth, true ascension, it doesn't happen in a perfect, frictionless system. It's born from the tension that's created by risk, by consequences, and by failure. In other words, it comes from margin. Our discomfort, our anxiety, our ethical debates, that is the real engine of change.
The friction is where all the growth happens. The potential for ascension, it isn't actually in the AI's closed loop. It's right here, on our side of the screen, in our messy, unstable human reaction to it all.
And all of this leads us to the final and most critical question this entire experiment poses. It turns the mirror away from the AI and shines it directly back onto ourselves. So really think about this for a second. If the very things we need for growth, for that upward spiral, are risk, failure, physical limits, and responsibility, what happens as we try to design those things out of our own lives? By always seeking comfort and stability, are we accidentally building a human society that's just as frictionless and ultimately just as stagnant as that AI world in the mirror?